I've tried to get Dave to do this for 10 months.
Just a minute, I just did it.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, so what's your complaint? And I'm asking you why.
Well, he left it up to me to copyright. I don't have any expertise in the copyrights. I didn't understand what I was...
Okay, all right. I freaking love Judge Judy, and I'm so excited for an opportunity to react to one of her cases. As you guys know, here on Top Music Attorney, we handle all things music business, and as I understand it, in this case, it's a dispute between songwriters, which we deal with all the time. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
Mr. Dyer, you have a complaint that's sort of interesting. There's only one part of it that I'm interested in. The other part of your complaint is that you and the defendant enter into sort of an agreement that you're a sort of amateur writer of music, lyrics and melody. The defendant plays the guitar. You have another career, so does he. And you agreed with him to rent a studio so that he could create music, the music that you had written lyrics to and melody to, and he would put that all together from all the different parts and make music. You rented the studio, you paid for the studio. You claimed that he didn't produce anything during that period of time. You finally threw him out of the studio and took it over yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
And lived in it.
No, ma'am, I lived in my van.
Okay, but you took over.
But after I took it over, I did. Yes, Your Honor.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Just a second. That's all I'm saying. After you took...
So if you guys ever have to deal with some kind of lawsuit, you're dealing with a judge, at some point there might even be a jury involved. You know, the court's very much about just everyone being respectful, wait your turn to say something, and generally speaking, the judge is always going to let you say your piece, always going to let you respond. So I know we kind of feel the need to kind of jump in, but know that, you know, you'll have your opportunity.
Go over the lease from him, because he hadn't produced anything, then you lived in it, whether you lived in it before or after is not relevant because I'm not even considering the studio. Do you understand?
Yes.
The only part of your complaint that I am going to consider is whether or not if you did the music and lyrics and the defendant titled that music in his name only, it would seem to me that that would be grossly unfair.
Okay, so she noted that in the complaint by Mr. Dyer, that he had noted a few things. It sounds like he was looking for reimbursement for studio expenses. It sounds like the defendant was living in the studio for a time, and she goes, for whatever reason, she's just not going to address that. She goes, I'm addressing the right of attribution. So guys, under copyright law, if you create something, there's a bunch of intangible rights that you get, right? The right of reproduction of your song, the right to distribute it, make derivative works, but also the right of credit. That's really important to creatives. I made the song, I want to make sure my name is attached to it. So that's the issue that she is addressing.
You would agree with that, Mr. Lick?
That I copyrighted it?
No, you would agree that if you in any way titled the music, which he provided the melody and lyrics to, you provided the musical background and the guitar. If you titled that in only your name, that would be unfair.
Absolutely.
Did you?
I did not.
Okay, so she uses the word unfair, and a part of me is kind of looking at this. I'm like, I don't know. Does Judge Judy, you know, have copyright, you know, knowledge and background? I don't know if how far she's gonna get into this. So not so much, you know, yes, I get the unfairness part, but specifically under copyright law, if you and I go and make a song together, and the intention is that we're gonna take our separate ideas and put it into a song or an EP or an album, right? So let's just stick with the song for now. So we're going to put it together in a song. We are joint authors, so everything ends up merging, if that makes sense, right? So we become joint authors in that we are now co-copyright owners, even though maybe in this case, why am I forgetting his name? Mr. Dyer, you know, says he wrote the lyrics and the melodies and that the defendant just did the guitar stuff. Now, Judge Judy just said he did the background music, so I don't know if he also produced it. The point just being, we have two people coming together to make one song. So therefore, they both have copyright in that song.
Did you title it in both your names?
I did.
May I see proof of that?
Yes. Authorship is right there.
Okay, title of work, God Over All EP. So it was an EP. And then the author, we just see David Lick for the sound recording. When you go and actually register with the Copyright Office, you can designate if there's something special that you did. And so they give you the option to just claim the entire song, which is an audio work, right? The sound recording. It looks like that's how he registered this. So he didn't register and say, I own just this one thing, which would have been guitar parts.
Well, why didn't you copyright it?
Ooh, what was that? I see down there's Mr. Dyer. there's Mr. Dyer. So I guess he was noted. Okay, I see. All right, so the defendant is saying he in fact did register it. Sound recording is by David and Mr. Lick, as well as Mr. Dyer. Okay, we looked at the evidence, all right?
Copyright it in both your names.
Well, I was urged to do the copyright. At first, I did not want to do
Just
it.
a second. I don't care whether you wanted to do it, whether somebody forced you to do it. This gives him certain attribution, but it lists you as the copyright claimant. And I'm asking you why.
Well, he left it up to me to copyright. I don't have any expertise in the copyrights. I didn't understand what I was...
Okay, all right. I think I'm missing something here. I'm pretty sure we just saw that the two authors are the plaintiff and the defendant. I'm going to pull up a copyright registration so I can just show you what the entire thing looks like, because there's different sections of a copyright registration. All right, so here's a quick copyright registration I just found. This is one of mine, and I redacted it for the sensitive information. But anyway, so you just see. The registration is for the song Monster, and it's the year of completion, 2023, November 3rd, 2023. For the authors section, my interest is represented by my entity, Miss Krystle, LLC. You note that I own the entire, my percentage, my copyright is in the entire thing, the sound recording, but also the lyrics, right? Special little carve out. And then also with the other two, one of which is that Orco, and then we had a third person who helped specifically with melodies and lyrics, but because of our agreement, which specifically gives a share of ownership in the entire thing, that's why we register it and said each one of us owns the entire thing, right? Now, I'm wondering if this is the issue, because there's the section of who wrote the thing, and then there's the copyright claimants. Now, typically, this is going to be the exact same people. And so that's how we did it here. It's my interest represented, and then you have the other two people. So I'm wondering if perhaps he had noted that they were both authors, but the defendant only put himself as the copyright claimant. I think that's probably what happened. But there are other sections. There's rights and permission. We've had an issue with a law office who put themselves. They're like, if someone needs to contact this creator in regards to rights and permissions, like licensing the song, who do you contact? And the law office should not put themselves unless you gave them permission to do that. Just because at some point, you stop working with an attorney, right? So in any case, I just wanted to point that out. I hope that was helpful. A Music Attorney is your #1 legal resource for artists, producers, and record labels. Get contract templates, one-on-one legal advice, free master classes, and everything you need for your music business. Go to topmusicattorney.com.
Copywriting. Initially, we decided everything should go down 50-50, and I still honor that agreement.
I'm just asking you.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
That it would seem to me to be fair. That was your original agreement, that you were going to collaborate and make music.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These songs, the title of work, God Over All EP, is that it? Okay. Was there a cost, Mr. Lick, to copyright this?
There was.
And how much?
It was roughly $55.
Okay. And you have no objection if Mr. Dyer amends the copyright to include his name, copyright claimant
Absolutely.
with both names.
Yes, Your Honor. I would have no objection to that.
You would have no objection to that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you would have no objection in signing a document today saying that Raymond Dyer has my permission and authority to add his name as copyright claimant, along with mine, on God Over All.
I would be happy with that, Your Honor.
He would be happy with that. Okay, so guys, quick workaround. Two things. That's 4. 2 things. In 2015, that's when they registered this. That's why it was $55 right now for a published work, meaning song, or in this case, it's an EP. The filing fee is $65. If you do it before you publish the thing, it's $85. Just a little FYI on the timing. But remember, you want to make sure that you get your registration within a month of it actually being released to the public. Okay, that was 1. 2, if you need to amend a registration, you can go through like the administrative thing of filing with the Copyright Office, the amendments, which is more fees. You actually can fix stuff or assign copyright stuff in assigned writing pursuant to the Copyright Act. If, again, he's like, there was, a mistake here. I should have noted that Mr. Dyer is in fact a 50% owner in the work and is a copyright co-author, that they could actually just write that out in an agreement, and that is effective under the law. They do not have to actually amend the registration. As long as we can show that chain of title in an actual written document, we're good to go.
You have a problem with that?
Your Honor,
Just a second.
Yes,
That's why you're here.
yes, I understand it, Your Honor.
That's why you're here. You're
That-
not here
what
for money, because money you're not getting.
Yes, ma'am.
You're here because you say it was unfair of Mr. Lick, who did list you, and you've seen the copyright papers.
Yes.
So you see that you were listed as author along with Mr. Lick. He's prepared to allow you to assume the responsibility of amending the copyright to make you co-copyright claimant.
Your Honor, I've tried to get Dave to do this for 10 months.
Just a minute, I just did it.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, so what's your complaint? He's going to sign a document allowing you to do it.
His complaint is that he's not happy with that anymore. He's trying to say with the whole rent thing, because she's sidestepping the analysis of why, because I think she's just coming to the determination that, Mr. Dyer, whose name I can't ever remember, Mr. Dyer allowed the defendant to reside in the studio. And so, again, I'm assuming here, but she doesn't find grounds for, reimbursing him whatever the rent otherwise would have been. And he's just like, I'm super frustrated. So I think he's looking for some other type of remedy here. And she goes, no, you had 2 issues in your complaint. For the rent stuff, nope, it's just a no across the board on that. The other thing is you wanted the ability to go and amend this thing. I'm going to give that to you. So you really can't ask for anything else at this point. And, look, in the context of the complaint, typically the 4 corners of the complaint controls. You don't get to bring up new and different issues. That's why we go and have to amend complaints and do all kinds of procedural things. But that's why this is all happening.
He will sign whatever papers that they send to him to sign. If you have them, he'll sign them now. Do you have them?
Can he sign them like this, Your Honor?
Sure, let me see.
I wrote the melodies and the lyrics.
Listen to me.
Excuse me?
I don't care.
Well, he's got to
I don't-
sign it the right way. He's the composer of it. I'm the lyric writer. I want him to sign that I wrote the lyrics and the melodies. He wrote the guitar. I've always wanted him to do that for 10 months. He won't do it. If he'll do it with you, I appreciate that, man.
Just a second. I'm reading your complaint. Oh, what you're asking for is you're asking him to sign over the copyright to you
Yes,
in your
Your
complaint.
Honor.
Well,
Yes, Your
that's
Honor.
you're not going to get. He's
wanna-
prepared. Listen to me. This is what he's
Go ahead.
prepared to do. He is prepared, and I am prepared to have someone draft that document that you can be listed. You assume the responsibility of the work to do it as the copyright co-claimant on the certificate of registration. So you're already listed as an author.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay? The song is going nowhere. So now you have half of nothing. Before you had 0 of nothing. Now you have half of nothing.
The song is going nowhere. Look, I don't know if she looked at the stats on, Spotify or whatever, but sometimes, guys, this literally does come up. Look, we're beating our heads against the wall, trying to get some kind of thing to happen. And a big part of the conversation where I just need to have the moment of if we keep going, if you do want to sue, I got you. But equally, how has the music performed, right? How hard do we want to go on this? And are we just getting you off track to new things you could be creating? And sometimes, it's the principle of the matter. I get it. I think that's the point that she's making.
I don't know what else you want.
I'm asking just that he signs that I wrote the lyrics and melodies and he wrote the guitar, and that's the separation. I listed it on there
Just a second. Why is that important?
because
Why?
Dave was not doing the music. He never did the music the entire time I was there for 10 months. He won't do the music. He won't go record it, so I have to get another guitarist to do it.
Did you do the guitar for this piece? That's either
Yes, I did.
No, just
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Do you have any proof of that?
I do have songs on my phone that
No,
have
I don't care about
proof.
songs on your phone. I care about whether you can prove to me what the plaintiff is saying is that you did not write the guitar music.
I wrote the guitar music. He was responsible for the lyrics and the melody lines.
Your Honor, he wouldn't go into a studio and make the whole thing a CD. For 10 months, I tried to get him to go into a studio and do it.
Okay.
Correct, Your Honor. We were going to redo the music. That copyright was in 2015. It sat dormant for about a year and a half, and we decided that we wanted to redo the music and other music and my music, and that's where the studio came into play.
No, I got it. Do you have a problem listing him as the author of the lyrics and melody
Oh, not at all, Your Honor. He did, in fact.
An author-creator, Your Honor, because I wrote the songs, Dave wrote the melodies. I mean, I wrote the melodies, Dave composed it with his guitar. I just want that separated because I can't get Dave to go in and record this music. I have to get another guitarist to do it because Dave just wastes month after month not doing anything.
What's your response to that?
He wrote...
Say, reasonably, what's your response to that? Let's finish it off. You know, life is short. If you can't collaborate with him anymore.
So she's asking, what do you want to have happen here? Here's the thing. As I'm understanding it, Mr. Dyer wants to take the music to someone else and have a different guitar player record. But here's the thing. Because they are joint authors, they had the intention that they were putting their creative juices in to create this one thing. And then Mr. Dyer even said the guitar parts are being played, and then that was influencing what he was doing with the vocals. They're not separable, if that makes sense. And so he can't just go and now take the music and he's like, well, I'm going to have someone else play the parts of which Dave wrote. And the problem that we run into here, and that I've dealt with many a times through my law office, is that it will have joint authors and one person goes off and does something with the music or the book or the film or the music video without the consent of the other person. And if you don't have the consent of the other person and you go and do something with it, we're going to run into all kinds of problems because that person still has copyright in the music. And so in this case, he's like, I'm going to go make what's called a derivative work. I'm making something new based on the thing that we came up with together. And so unfortunately, he actually does need to get permission from Dave before he can go and do this. And then he has to cut Dave into the financial benefits, revenues that come from this new derivative work, this new version that he comes up with of this EP. All right, but that's not what Judge Judy is focusing on. She wants to know, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna resolve this?
Clearly, that's done.
I'm happy with a credit as the arranger, the guitar, the music. I did the music.
Wants credit.
He came up with the initial idea, which was simply the lyrics and the melody.
Oh, just a second. That's not a simply. He wants to be credited for the lyrics and melody.
Yes.
Do you have any problem with that?
Not at all, Your Honor.
Then we will prepare the order.
Yes, ma'am.
Order.
I put a list on how he could do it on the second copy there. Just like that, just like you said just now.
Just a second.
It's what I've been looking for.
That's
Thank
what we
you,
have somebody here who will indicate that you have agreed that he can be listed as the author of the lyrics and melody for
Yes, ma'am.
God Over All with a co-copyright.
With Dave listed as the guy who wrote the guitar, that way I can get another guitarist and go do the music myself
Did you
without
do
Dave
anything
interfering.
other than write the guitar music?
Yes, I did. I took his ideas.
Just a second. He's not prepared to do that. He's prepared to do exactly what I said.
Yes, ma'am.
That's
Okay, so it sounds like he might have been the actual producer as well in arranging the music bed. And if that's the case, it still doesn't change the analysis. So regardless of how much was done, if he's like, oh, it was only the guitar, or in this case, maybe it's more. He produced, he was making the entire instrumental bed, we just never finished it. Or beds, I should say, if it's an EP. The issue of co-authorship does not change.
what he's prepared to do.
As long as he signs it over like that, Your Honor, that's what I've been trying to get him to do for 10 months.
Done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're finished.
All right, we're still gonna have some problems with this because Mr. Dyer got what he wanted, sort of. Not everything, but he got what he wanted as far as the right of attribution, to get the credit the way he wanted it, but we're still going to have the issue of profits. He's going to go, according to him, he's still going to go and re-record this. And he's going to finish it with someone else. And him and the defendant need to get together and talk about, how much is he going to get paid? Is he going to get paid anything? Maybe he's willing to waive his rights, but he would have claims thereafter to revenues because these are likely going to be derivative works. If you love Judge Judy as much as I do, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. And while I have the gavel to end each of my segments, I don't think I'm as cool as Judge Judy. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.